Now, for those of you guys watching out here, I would love to say that this gentleman here is free to play, but unfortunately, we cannot coin him. I said,
$5 in box.
it's a $5 box for sure.
No one's gonna believe that.
What's going on, everybody? It's Childish. We're back at it again with another video for you all today. As always, thank you all so much for tuning in. Today, we get to answer the question that everybody has been asking me in the chat. What do we think about Comptous's first big game, Summoners War, that came out in 2014, compared to their newest mobile RPG, Skylanders Ring of Heroes? Now, as you guys know, I've already played this game for quite some time, and I got a little bit of a biasing, so I decided to go ahead and get one of the most respected G3 players from Summoners War that has actually transitioned and played both games out there. Makeitabud is in the house. What is going on, my man?
Hey, Childish, doing great. Excited to share my thoughts on these two games here.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm pretty shocked that you jumped into this game to give it a test out. We're gonna get into that because, again, like I said, we've been playing it for a little bit now. We're still playing it. We're enjoying it. What about you?
I'm enjoying it myself. I'm shocked that I'm playing it too, because originally when I was playing Summoners War, I told myself that was my last and only game. And so far, this, who knows where this goes, right? Maybe I'll just not. But like the 10x feature makes it pretty easy to just click a button and just not think about it. So for now, we'll just see where it goes. It's been pretty fun so far. It's getting a little longer. But so far, it's been pretty good. I like the graphics. I like the style. I know a lot of people don't like the graphics. I like it. So I think from that point of view, it's just, for me, it's worth playing.
Gotcha. So let's go ahead and give a feel for the Skylanders community for those that don't know you. So give us a little bit of background on your current situation in Summoners War, how long you've been playing, your rank and everything. Let everybody know what you're about.
Yeah, absolutely. So Summoners War, I've been playing for about 3.5, maybe 4 years now, and I am a G3 player. So G3 basically means, now it means top 300, but in the past it was top 100. My highest finish was 20 something. And this season I was actually pushing top 5 for a few days until the ranking system forced us to put all 30 swords down every day, and I don't have the time to do that. But so currently I sit at like 70-ish, but generally I think I've been about 20 in the past. I've done an SWC tournament in the past, which is Summoners War World Championship or something. That was their first season back in 2007 of October. So competed in LA. Won a round, lost a round, and then also did participate in some SWC2 last year. And then this year we'll see. Hopefully we'll be commentating this year for SWC, but we don't know yet. But hope is out there. We'll see.
Yeah, following the footsteps, taking my reign there. I see how he is. Okay. I'm jobless. It's cool.
Learning from the best, right?
There you go.
But yeah, so I play the game. I still stream it. Pretty like once a week or so, pretty often, and I like to play competitively, so I still play both games. I consider that the main game I play, and yeah, so that's pretty much my depth of experience in that game. Competitive player, played against all kinds of players, see the game from all kinds of lenses, and then tried this game out because I was sitting on the so I travel for work, right? And I came back and I was sitting on the tarmac on Thursday at night, and figured that, the game just came out. Let's just download it and try it out. So on the Uber ride back, I was just playing this thing and watching the graphics go, and then that's kind of how it started.
Yeah, definitely. So let me ask you this, because I mean, obviously, Summoners War is not your first game you ever played here, but it seems to be when I got a chance to see you at both of the SWC regionals here in 2017, 2018, you have obviously got a niche for the competitive aspect of the game, really looking at everything you can to be at the top of your game here. So how did you find yourself jumping into the competitive scene? What has made you really push out and try to be one of the best?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, Action Summoners War, I really liked the graphics. I liked the gameplay. Didn't know much about the strategy, to be honest, right? I just knew that, hey, I needed a farm, I needed to get good runes, and at the time, I just figured see where it would go. And then when Summoners War launched RTA, which is the real-time arena system, I started being able to compete against some of the top players out there. And at the time, the meta was totally untested, so no one knew what they were doing, and I didn't know myself either. But I was actually able to, didn't win all the time. I wasn't the best back then, but I was able to hang in. So I figured that this was something that was fun. I enjoyed doing. We'd see where it went. And then when SWC1, Summoners World Championship came around, and I actually finished high enough to get an invite, that's kind of where I realized, hey, I could have a lot of fun, see where this went competitively. And then from there, just kind of understood a lot more about the game in terms of how to draft, how to rune, how to make monsters efficient, how to draft with speeds, with control, with, the ability to fight control. And it just found a lot of depth in that gameplay. And so that's why I figured that I really like that style of game. And so I stayed there.
Yeah, I was going to say, in addition to that, the topics of rune efficiency, the speed ticks, a lot of things you really popularized for the competitive scene this last year that has really gotten a lot of light shed on and really helped a lot of players here.
Rune efficiency actually came from Barian.
Yeah.
Truth be told, I actually kind of understood what it was before I knew of a formula. Like, I just knew, like, some runes had more juice, as I would call it. But what I would popularize is two things in Summoner's War right now. A is the term luck sack, where people basically get super lucky on you and get 1,000,000 violent procs, which in Summoner's War is an additional turn. So I have that. And then the other thing I'm popularizing now is this thing we call roping, where if a guy's been very toxic to you in a game, or this is kind of bad mannered, so maybe you don't want to do this, but I find it very entertaining, at least to the viewers, when a guy tries to cleave you, which is a cheese, right? They try to take a quick win with no effort, no investment in it, and he fails. And so I'll let the timer kind of run out on each move, and then proceed to make my next move as I win. So kind of like a BM fun banter type thing, but that's something my value add to this community at the moment.
Nice. I'm gonna remember that. I remember the luck side part, but I didn't know the other one is. That's good.
I haven't made a rope code on my channel just for that.
Right.
Yeah.
So being a seasoned player in Summoners War, you've invested a lot of time and energy into this game, right? And so when we talked about it a little bit earlier, the whole thought process of trying a new game, giving it a chance, especially when you're heavily invested in one game, can be a little scary at first. So, like I said before, I was actually quite shocked that you tried out the game here. What was like the big motivating factor for you to give it a go when a lot of your, top end players may not have gone that route?
I would say twofold. First of all, the first initial download is boredom. I was sitting on the tarmac in the plane and I had nothing to do, so I figured I would try it out. And also, in combination, right? In Summoners War, I don't really need runes anymore, so I figured I could give up a couple hours of farming and just to try out this other game.
Right.
And then the reason why you can kind of still keep it running is because you have a 10x ability to do 10x runs in a row. So with 10 runs in a row, I only need to give attention every 10 minutes. And so I can still do what I normally do. I just have another device on the side. I click a button and we're good to go.
For the people out there that are from the Summoners War community, if they haven't checked this game out already, it is a brand new Hero Collector RPG that literally has twice the elements, yet we only have 3 units to work into our team here. So a lot of more team building, a lot more strategy, a lot of more things that we have to incorporate in our kick in order to, get those dubs, right? So let me ask you this. When it comes to this game, we've talked about quite a few things on the Summoners War side when it comes to mechanics. What is the mechanic in this game that you really enjoy the most?
Ooh, okay, that's a good question. I would say in this game, I mean, it's completely different from Summoners War, right? Because Summoners War is turn-based and there's basically monsters take their turn and whatnot. And in this one, you have a resource, I think it's called mana, right? Or whatever that blue thing is at the bottom, that you're balancing between. And I think being able to balance that, that mechanic makes the game very interesting because you're going to pick your team. I imagine an endgame RTA is probably going to be balancing the way you use that mana. And maybe the cooldowns of monsters so that they may go in front of other monsters. I think that dynamic is going to be interesting, and I like that mechanic that they've had that supplements that.
Right. And I was going to say, in addition to that, we have not just the whole new combat system, but we also have quite a few different secondary stats, some that we haven't seen before, the evasion, the block rate, the block damage, a lot of more things to consider, when building our teams and the way how we build our units here. Any of them that have you taken a look at and kind of try to figure it out right away?
I'm going to be honest, no. So at this point, it's all about farming. And we're just, think about Summoner's War back when you're trying to get to Giants B10, Dragons B10, right? I think accuracy was a skill, a stat you're looking at, but we have accuracy here too, which is effect accuracy. But you're mainly trying to clear the waves fast enough or clear the boss fast enough So it's more about the damage that you output. So I think when you start looking at like resist, accuracy, block rate type stuff, similar to how resist and accuracy work in Summoners War, I think that's going to get a lot more attention when you start looking at PvP. Or potentially if certain bosses, like invasion boss, if there's like a resistance threshold, maybe people will start looking at that. But the game's only been out on global for 2.5 weeks, and so I don't think the science has quite been, or the research has been quite put into it yet.
Right. And I think that's kind of the beauty of it, not really knowing everything and anything about this game, trying to figure it out amongst each other. I mean, that's what you and I kind of grown to love when we first got started in Summoners War. Like there was no meta back then. We defined the meta. Now wait, correction. You defined the meta, right? I just watched you and followed you, right?
No, I would say I don't define metas very well actually in Summoners War. So like the Verde meta that's going on the Fan meta, I copy that off some of the European players.
Yeah.
I'm very good at taking a meta and making it better, or optimizing it, or using it effectively in a draft. But defining it is, I let people do the research on the formulas and all that. Like, I'll just read their research. It's too much work, too much effort, and too much brains behind that.
Gotcha. So it looks like we got a couple more runs here till we finish out. I want to take a quick second to take a look at your monster box and maybe point out some of the favorite Skylanders that you've been messing around with. But before we get into that, though, let's try to get a feel for the Summoners War. You know, your just kind of perspective on it right now. Talk about maybe the pros and cons of it before we jump into a little bit more Skylanders here. So as of right now, the state of the game in Summoners War, how do you feel about it? What are the things you like? What are the things that you would like to see them improve?
Wow. Okay. I would say there's a lot of things I like about Summoners War. I like the RTA system. I like the complexity. I like that basically the draft in the real-time arena system is very complicated. With it's essentially a lot of things are decision trees. Like what can you draft before another monster, and what can you not draft if you haven't seen a certain thing hit the board? What are the speeds they're hitting you at? How quickly is something going to get killed? All those things, it's an incredibly complex system. I really like the thought process that you would need to be able to put into something like that. For the casual player, I think the farming is also cool, where you get the runes, right? You get random items, you have these rune crafts, you have these summons, just the random element of chance. The degenerate gambler in me finds those
right?
Those aspects of the game to be fun. Yeah, I'm a dangerous one in Vegas. But those aspects are very fun. And I think that's great about Summoners War. It's been key to that, and I think that's never going to change. I think the strategy is great. I also think the team's done a good job trying to change. So even though this season I'm not crazy about how the point system works, in that basically you can kind of go to infinity and you need to burn 30 swords a day, I do like the fact that they did try to make a change, right? The Molong meta, this Blue Panda, used to dominate the meta, and it used to be very one-dimensional.
Right.
Now there's a lot more intricacies on it. It's a lot more quote-unquote fair, but it's just different. I like how they change things up, and they're, the attempt of doing so, and sometimes successfully, and sometimes a few tweaks need to be made. But so far, I think those are some strengths that they have, and just weaknesses. Obviously, I think the RTA system needs a little bit of a rework. And then I mean, they have Guild Siege for like a guild content type thing where people can interact. You can 2v1 our guild a lot of times, right? A lot of banter going on, but maybe a little bit more community interactive type stuff. Raids don't count because no one talks in raids. Or at least if they talk, I don't respond because
because you're a baller.
Because it's just I don't have time to keep chatting with someone, right? Yeah. If you need to talk to me, I'll just come to my stream or something, right? Because it's easier to talk versus typing in game. That chat system's kind of weird to work with. But I would say some other a guild RTA or something like that would be super fun. Right. But for now, I think the game's pretty good. It's just maybe needs a little. At some point, they'll release more monsters, more content, and just kind of keep it fresh.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on all the changes that they made. 2018 was probably one of the best years, I think, for the Summoners War community. All the different events, all the different changes, like the big monster balance pass that you're talking about, that everybody knows about. It was quite impressive. I really said to the community, we're listening to what you're saying. No joke, right? We're really looking forward to doing it. So outside of that, I mean, like I said, they changed so much stuff here. I really can't think of anything outside of one topic, maybe the concept of the violent runes And the change that went from season 1 RTA to season 2, a lot of the things that the only really thing that I would love to see change, since we had that movement, I really like the change with the violent runes only proc one time in RTA. I think it was a really good move there. I personally would like to see that to be across all PvP platforms there. Now, do you agree on that, or if not, maybe throw out one thing that you would like to see there?
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of people say they should abolish violent procs, and I think that's not true. I mean, I think violent procs are there for a reason, right? And it makes the game, if you had no violent procs, Swift units would dominate because everything becomes very predictable and you know how to control things, and right, there's no random element there,
Right.
and you need that. The game's it's a lot of times about probabilities and what's the chance he procs. Therefore, I need to do what move to maximize my chance of winning. In terms of So we've established that we want to keep violent in the game. I think the RTA move to 1 violent proc only was really good, because if something procced 3 times, that's basically game over, and that's a little bit too much volatility. RTA is already frustrating enough as is. 1 violent proc is already enough, and because you can proc only once, it still adds that skill element where you know that, for example, something is stunned, I need to put a bomb on it, so it kind of negates the chance of it to proc, right? If it procs, it gets bombed. If we want to take it from other elements of PvP, I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty indifferent to it. I think on the plus side, right, only 1 violent proc means that things are more predictable, and it's not going to be as volatile, right? But at the same, you know what? Okay, I'm going to change my stance a bit. I actually think it should not be changed. I think it should be unlimited vial procs, and I think I know why they do it now. I thought about it. When you fight an arena defense or guild war defense, you know what you're fighting against, and you're bringing the perfect team against that. So you have an inherent advantage, right?
Right.
So if you were to only have 1 violent proc, your AO rate, your arena offense rate, your guild war offense rate, they're all going to be much higher in theory, because you've brought in the perfect team to negate that RNG. Everyone's going to have higher rates, so your guild war defense rates are going to be even lower. So right, everyone wants to have a high guild war defense rate. But then the other complaint that's going to come out is, hey, my guild war defenses are never successful because my Perna can't proc 3 times anymore. And you need that to kind of balance out the fact that offense has such a big advantage over defense. So yeah, I actually think this is perfect.
No, so. Yeah, I agree. It's funny enough, I think we've gone back and forth with a couple of people that we actually hanged out with when we were together for the tournaments this year, and they were kind of saying the same thing. It's like, the advantage that is to be gotten from the offensive side, it's pretty strong, and so if they don't have any kind of chance to win, you take that away from them. There's really no way they could win, right? If you got the runes to trump them, like, what can you do, right? What can you do? So now I noticed that you restarted your times 10 because it's just kind of natural to me. So let's go ahead if we can here. If you don't mind, we'll cancel this run right here. We'll jump into. Let's take a look at your monster box right now. Now, for those of you guys watching out here, I would love to say that this gentleman here is free to play, but unfortunately, we cannot coin him.
$5 in, guys.
$5 into the game right here. So, obviously, you've been playing the game just as long as I have. Yeah,
$5 in box.
It's a $5 box for sure.
No one's gonna believe that.
Yeah. No, they'll totally believe here. So, out of all the Skylanders you've worked on, the ones that you studied on, taking a look at real in depth here, what's the ones you've been focusing on? What's the ones that really excite you as you start to build some of your teams for PvP?
Wow, I'm such a PvP noob, so it's tough to say. But the ones that I like the most, I would say this Max Stormblade here.
Yeah.
I'm still like I keep messing up the names in my head, but Stormblade I really like because of the AoE skills. And actually, yes, I have awakened it, and it's very difficult to awaken a Nat 5 in this game. But when you awaken it, when you crit, there's a chance to deal additional bonus shots, which is a lot of damage and really helpful in PvP. If I were to think of a quote-unquote perfect or really good PvP team, I would pair it with a Spitfire, where I could give attack up at the start of a round, so that this would give attack buff to the Stormblade, and then Stormblade would be able to shoot things down. This is a lot of damage. So I really like that combination. Stormblade gets kind of hosed by this thing here. A lot of people are bringing kabooms in, and they just kind of blow up your team. But I think an attack buffed Stormblade with enough attack is enough to kind of sweep through things. So this is probably one of my favorite monsters at the moment. I'm building a Boomer here, which is useful for B9 because it has elemental advantage, and I think it also probably has some uses in B10. And then obviously there's like the stealth elf that everyone likes. I'm ambivalent about it, but I use it for B8. Same thing with this super shot stealth elf. And then the wham shells, I've heard it's going to be very good in B9, so I'm going to try it out. My runes are pretty average at the moment. Most of my time has been spent farming scenario, where I'm doing just farming for shards, because in this game essentially you need shards to level up. So if you look at, for example, you look at this monster, you see a +1 on the hex. You need to get to +5 first. You need to keep powering it up and get to +5 and then evolve it. So there's a lot of shards you got to farm. And earlier what we were doing was farming shards for this boomer here, which I hopefully will be able to awaken and then power up and awaken and so on and so forth.
Yeah. I was going to say the boomer is one that I'm working on as well. I feel like out of all the units that I've seen, when we think about, Summoners War versus this game, Skylanders Ring of Heroes, the whole aspect of the AoE bombing units, they drop the bombs, but they also do AoE damage as well. It's almost like a 2-in-1 combo here. I've really enjoyed both Kaboom and Boober. I feel like they're going to be, unless they change some kind of mechanic about them, I think they're going to be pretty strong. I feel like there's just a lot more damage than we generally get for this. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think for the one thing that's nice is so far the free-to-play units have almost been meta, right? Like,
yeah,
stood out. But the reason why they're meta is also because not many people have the 5-star units.
Right.
There's one dude in Arena that had not only this thing at +5, but he had like this Nightmare, which is an LD unit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, an LD you can't get that from the selective thing at the end of 20 packs, or 20 summons. So, I mean, he had a fully decked out one of these, and I think that defense started to hose everyone down with the right runes. Right. I think eventually late game, all these Nat 5s will. I think their base stats are better. I haven't really done the research, but I think they are. Trust that they are. And I think they will overpower the weaker units, but for now, because of lack of shards, like these units here, like the quote unquote free to play units, are what people tend to leverage a lot more now.
Right, and to kind of add to that too, this is one of the topics that we've had a lot of people hit in the YouTube comments, on Reddit a little bit, is like, oh, you know what, this is this game is appearing to be a little bit more pay to win, but when we think about you being able to buy a pack and maybe get your own Nat 5 Skylander, regardless if you get that Skylander, the value of that Skylander when it gets maxed out at 5-star without any +1, +2, whatever, versus a farmable unit like, for example, your Wham Shell, your Stealth Elf that are sitting there 6-star max, +70 awaken. The value of those units, the higher end base stats, and everything like that. I mean, they're just so much more valuable for those players out there. And so it's funny because, we can make the argument for, yes, pay to win, gives you the advantage. You can probably get those shards a little bit quicker, at least the harder shards to obtain. But for a free-to-play player that invests the time and energy into some of those farmable units that are, at this time, relatively meta, can still be able to compete up there and do well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for now, assuming like most people don't have a 6-starred Awaken Nat 5, I mean, something like this is free to play, and its base stats and everything are going to be way superior to, like, for example, I don't have any other Nat 5 that's ready to go, but like one of these, right, a Mystic Cat or an Ambush or something, where like it's going to cap out at 60. So imagine in Summoners War, for those that play Summoners War, right, if you had a level, if you had a 6-star monster versus 5-star monster, right, like max level each, it's just not close. Right. Level 40 versus level 35, it's just not close. So for now, that's why like you need probably like several hundred shards to get to that 6-star range. But it's gonna hit a time at a critical mass where like when it's about time that everyone has these units, because they kind of will come almost all at once, because as you open packs, they're random shards. Then Nat 5s are going to start to overpower. Maybe Nat 4s first, then Nat 5s.
Yeah, I'm thinking Nat 4s here, especially for the fact that there is there's quite a fair amount of Nat 4s that you can obtain, not only for the one you're showing here, Super Shot, that you can get from the Mirage Shower, of course, the weekly rewards, but also some of the ones that you can get in the hard stages here. I'm actually going to have a video on this, so spoiler alert for the people that are seeing out this, so you expect this, because I'm going to be making a video that's not really going to relate to free-to-play players. The concept of the guaranteed, this is you already know what I'm gonna say. I'm literally gonna make a video on him being like, if you're free to play, You probably don't want to watch this video because I'm about to tell you what I'm currently doing to be able to have, you know, a competitive unit down the road. Being able to get that guaranteed shard is really, really important. And the fact that they're giving us certain Nat 4 Skylanders that are super strong right now in its current state is just, it blows my mind. So I kid you not, guys. I'm literally refreshing. I'm spending 180 crystals every day. I'm refreshing those crystals. I'm bleeding crystals away because that unit is too good to pass up.
Are you refreshing all of them?
No. I'm not. I haven't hit Makeitabud status yet. I'm just ChildishPlays. I'm like right here. You're here. I'm right here.
No. I actually don't refresh all of them either. I only refresh the Stealth Elf, and then I've actually maxed that out. Right, it's +5. It's awakened, and I actually have like an excess 200 shards sitting back there.
Yep.
So the good side is I can donate to my guild freely if someone asks that. But the downside is you can still pull them from packs, and they just kind of build up and do nothing.
Right.
So hopefully the game does something about that.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll figure it out. There, we can definitely remind them about that when we get to talking about. Actually, we can go ahead and jump right into that. The pros and cons of Skylanders Ring of Heroes. You talked about a lot of really good things that you like here, but what are some of the things that you would like to possibly see improved for this game as it kind of moves on into the rest of 2019?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to caveat that by saying that the game is only 2.5 weeks old. Well, technically older, right? If you count the other servers and whatnot.
Right.
But the game's only 2.5 weeks old, so it's really hard to tell them what they need to improve on because I mean, gut tells me that a lot of people would say that the grind is too long, the boomer grind is too long, and it takes like 2 weeks or a week to get this boomer, right? But if you think about it compared to Summoner's War, it took us maybe, what, a year to get to like GB10, and we're trying to get to whatever that is 10 in a few months, right? So because we have this this blueprint that's already there, our expectations are at a different level from where the game would have been, right? If this was the first game that was out there, it would take us that 10 months, a year and a half to get there. But with that, I will say that the common complaint will be that the grind is too long. I will say that what I would prefer, one thing I do wish that they would add is in B7, B8, B9. In B7, I don't believe there's a chance to get 6-star blue runes or purples, and you literally can get greens and that's it, and the chance is really low. I think getting the right stats on the runes as hard as is, I feel like the rates are a little bit lower. So that's really hard to farm. And I also think that they should implement the blue, purple, legendary runes, but just at a lower rate. The other thing I also think that could be improved is people probably notice gold is incredibly expensive and hard to get in this game, and it is the biggest bottleneck. I can farm for maybe 16 hours a day and barely have gold to power up one rune. And in Summoner's War, that is not the case, even if I did B7. I think there's a very big inequality there, which is not conducive to a good experience on that front. Like, I'm at 150k, but I farmed for quite a bit. So my units are going to be under-runed for a very long time. And I guess on the topic of grind, well, I guess the expectation is to have a boomer fully grinded, like maxed down and whatnot. I'm curious. I haven't worked out the math. I may backtrack on my statement of saying that the grind is not too long if we find out how long it takes for Nat 5 to get fully skilled up for like a semi-free-to-play, not semi-pay-to-play player, I guess. Not, as if you're free-to-play, it's binary. You either are or not.
Right.
Because the hypothesis is if everyone needs... A unit is useless if it is not 6-starred and doesn't have skill-ups, right? So if the unit is... if it takes you like a year to get one unit fully +5 and all that, that is too big of an investment, and you're going to kind of pigeonhole your account. And at the same time, these skill up things where everything needs, there's a ton of skill ups. There's more skills in here than Summoner's War, and probably more quote unquote Devilmon or these little power up things, upgrade stones needed. They're better. Hopefully, is another way to get more of these, because your unit is not the same as his unit if his is skilled up and yours is not.
Right.
And because the meta is undefined, if you use it on a bad unit or something where it becomes like not as useful, it sets you back for a month or 2 months, right?
Right.
And so I think resource constraint may be a bit. It's definitely not on the light side here. Like if anything, it could be constrained a bit much, but we'll have to see how the math pounds out. I would definitely say these upgrade stones need to be more available though.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say I when I first played on the soft launch server, I felt like I had a lot, quite a handful of them. But then I'm like, oh well. When you look at it, like, oh, I got 14 to 15. I'm like, that sounds great, but wait a second. Some of these skills need 2 or 3, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna go through those real quick. But kind of looking on the positive side of things, one of the cool things that they got going on in this game, we can actually choose the ability that we want to skill up. So even though we invest, it costs a little bit more, I guess you could say, versus Summoners War. At least we get to choose it. But yeah, that's interesting. And now, thinking about the arena that I'm watching you play right now.
I hope I win this.
I hope you win this too. I hope you win this too.
Stormblade's not very good against this Kaboom here. It's terrible against Kaboom.
Yeah.
See, this is the misplay where I should have targeted the Stealth Elf because this thing's gonna now shred through me. Use that extra Hurricane thing was super nice. I think I got this guy easy. Yeah. So this guy has time to mass wings and I don't, basically.
Right,
so that's
right. And I guess that's another thing that I'm excited about as well, because now you got me talking about 2 different things. Now this game, I feel like you kind of have to react a little bit quicker, because you're basically kind of on a timer with regards to your mana, which I think is going to be very, very challenging, especially as you get higher up there. But one of the things that I wanted to kind of throw it away, maybe something that they could look to improve. I want to get your thought process on this. Right now in the current arena, you're able to not only see the players' units, but you also can see the runes. From a Summoners War perspective, it kind of takes out that creativity that we can bring to a team that people are not not normally seeing. Maybe they bring some kind of defense skill on you, but they build it in a different fashion to make it a little bit more tankier, or maybe do a little bit more damage. Something outrageously unique. Sure. And so in this game, obviously you can see those rooms. Not a huge fan of it, but I just want to get your thought on that. Am I in the kind of am I right there, or am I on the wrong place? What do you think?
I think you're spot on, because imagine in Summoners War when you do arena, if I knew exactly what speed his unit was at, I just bring one unit that is 1 speed higher, and all his investment in that unit just went to waste, right?
Right.
And in this situation, if I know that a certain unit is squishy, right, easy to kill, I'm going to target that first and know that I can pop it in 1 hit. And I think that's not very good to let me see the runes. It's great now I can see what builds people are using, so maybe that's why they did that. But I definitely think this should not be available later. And for now, I like what they've done with the guild invasion, but maybe, and I'm sure it's on their radar, some sort of a guild war at some point. I think that would be needed. And then let's see, what else to cover? No, I think for now, everything else, I mean, it's way too early to tell what else is needed. I think it's going to take at least 2 months plus before we can even think about getting down to like B10. The content's not going to be saturated for a while. And then you have the Wailing, so the Beast Labyrinth is what I'm talking about. The Wailing Labyrinth, right? We haven't even gotten there. And I'm sure they're going to add a 3rd dungeon because it's come to us. They know they have a blueprint from Summoners War. So I can imagine there being a 3rd dungeon. And then eventually maybe a rating system, right? This is literally just mimicking what Summoners War did. But I can see that's what they're going to do. And if not, they should do that.
Gotcha.
Do you want to do a couple summons?
You know what? I think we can probably try to work it in. God bless you. I'll tell you what, man. You guys, we didn't even know if we were going to have the time to do summons. Hey, man, you want to do some summons for the video? Yeah. Let's do some summons for the video. Not? So let's go ahead and throw it out there.
Sweet.
So let's talk about, what you can obtain here, what you're looking for, maybe, something that you're going for.
Yeah, I mean, so at the moment, this is actually from Faint Memory. Faint Memory was telling me he really likes Spitfire later for B10. And I kind of agree with him, given that the bombs are going to be important for that dungeon. I have enough to get to like +5, but I need some to evolve and then awaken later. So I would like some Spitfires. I would like some Nightmares. I've heard is a good monster. I haven't actually had the chance to try it out. And then obviously more of what I already have is great. And then more Boomers and Ingenies to cut down my farming time would be stellar. So the less I have to farm there means the more time I have to do runes.
Right.
So we'll do a couple. Yeah.
And for those that are watching from the Summoners War community that still haven't had a chance to check this game out, this is different in such that, oh wow, that's a nice
unlucky.
Yeah.
That's unlucky.
That's unlucky. But hey, it's Crypt King. Crypt King's actually pretty decent if you look at his skills. So look at that! Wow, is this the life of Makeitabud first too?
This is pretty standard.
Wow.
So for those that don't know, when every pack you open will have a lightning, and lightning just basically means that unit gets more shards of that type.
Right.
I don't use any of these two. I don't think they've been proven to be any good, at least in the Europe servers and other games, other instances, and that has not been proven to be good either. So we're getting kind of bad pulls here. If you hold down on the screen, the pulls just come out faster because I know this is kind of junk. So
Right.
we're gonna do some more here. Not getting what I want with the appropriate power up. So this is standard. Honestly, no one knows about the Nat 5s yet, so I'm okay if the Nat 5s that I don't use get a lightning boost on it too.
Right.
Right. If that gets a power up, I don't mind if the Wham Shell gets it because that would save me some farming time. Right. But yeah, at this point, it's just more about the legendary shards. Kaboom is fine because I need some more of those, more Wham Shells, and that's a pretty poor pack. But I would like some more of the whatchamacallit, the fire thing, Spitfire.
Spitfire, yeah.
Ninjinis are always great, right? Ninjinis are great. Kabooms are great,
Yeah.
Because Ninjini is, I think, Faint Memory mentioned a lot, and I also agree with him. I think it's going to be really strong for B10 for single target damage.
Yeah. I think she has her second skill ignores defense, a good chunk of it.
Yep, and then you also boost the crit rate.
Yeah, and the heal down there. Yeah. And again, just to kind of throw it out there, anyone from the Summoners War community that still hasn't put 2 and 2 together, we're not summoning units, we're summoning fragments of units or shards of the units, and we need a certain amount of shards to not only summon it, but also to, power it up, awaken it, evolve it, so on and so forth. So over time, this kind of game is set up in such that we're going to be able to obtain a lot of different Skylanders, but which Skylanders are going to be our strongest ones that we're going to be able to, take advantage of, that's just going to have to, basically come down to how lucky we can get with the shards that we obtain here. So,
yep. And at that point, I'm actually going to, I don't know which 4-star I want yet, so I'm going to have to sit and think about it. Not sure which one I want, and at the moment, I don't think there's any I really need, so I'm going to sit on that. I don't need to summon anymore. I'm just here to farm Boomer shards, so I'm going to stop the summons there, and then unless I really need the Spitfire, then I'll just max it out till I get the Spitfire so I can evolve it.
Gotcha. Well, let's do this. Let's kind of switch the topic from a pay-to-win perspective to a free-to-play perspective. Let's talk about the beginners. Like we said, The game has only been going out for 2.5 weeks. You've had a chance to really grind it out, obviously, and so let's throw out a couple of questions, maybe because I know that you've been kind of hanging around with a lot of the different streamers out there that are playing this game. What are some of the big tips that you've been able to either collect and use yourself, or you provided for the community?
So I would guess I would break down the beginning phases of the game into two steps first. First step is you want to be able to farm something on hard, and anything on hard on 3 stars, because that will enable you to get 5-star runes. Your goal is to get 5-star runes. White runes are fine, meaning no extra power-ups and rolls, but just white runes are fine. Get them to plus 12. And then once you can get these white runes, then your next goal is to hit B7, where you're going to get 4 to 6-star runes. And then from there, you're going to be farming shards for specific monsters to get to B8, B9, and B10. And so for B8, I believe that is like a Wham Shell, your Stealth Elf. You're just going to continue farming those shards, and that would help you get there. And then B9, that people are thinking about, it's going to be this Boomer Wham Shell. So you want to think about which shards you want, but make sure you get the runes first from hard 1, meaning 1/1 hard. 3-star that so you can get the 10x, and then go to B7 afterwards.
Yep.
Yep.
I was going to say, I think that was one of the things that we saw Island Grown do on his stream when he was showcasing the game as well. A lot of people were checking out some of his main units and were like, wow, he's going triple energy on attacker. Why is that? Well, those triple energy runes are all 5-star plus 12, so he got a nice jump in there. That's one of the things that really hits home for some of us that came from Summoners War. We're so addicted to percentage-based runes, whereas in this game, taking advantage of the flat stats early on is basically appeared to be quite a bit more beneficial until we can move into the later stages of our Skylander progression. So.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, if you're coming from Summoners Wars, flat stats here are actually good. Just do the math and just take the percentage multiplied by base and figure out which one's better. For most units, unless they are 6-starred and awakened and +5, your flat stats probably going to be better actually. So just hold on to all the runes and then just max out the ones that are high in stars.
Yeah, buddy. Well, all right, my
Yep.
man. That's pretty much all the questions that I have for you today. If you have any last final words or anything you want to share, a nice take-home message for both the Summoners War and Skylanders community, maybe to motivate some of your other G3 players out there to give it a go, what would you say for them?
Sure, absolutely. As I say all the time, both games, whatever you play, Summoners War, Skylanders, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, right? So make sure you enjoy it, you like it, you're there to have fun, right? I think if your motivation is to be the best, you might burn out, right? A lot of people are going very hardcore, but if your motivation is just to have fun, see what it turns into, right? Have a passion first before you actually just try to like sprint for something.
So that's going to be it, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And once again, my man Makeitabud, thank you so much for coming on to the channel and helping us bring out this video to the community.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Glad to share the thoughts, and hopefully everyone has fun playing either game and this one, right? Hopefully everyone has fun in general.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. It's your boy Childish and Makeitabud with ChildishPlays checking out. Take care, and we will see you all in the next one. I'm out.